Good morning, everyone. How we doing? Welcome in. Get the stream all set up here. I think we got Tradify and Lucid set up. Awesome. All right. Good morning, guys. How we doing? Welcome in. No super significant gap overnight. We do have a very minor previous day in London gap, which will probably fill into open 627.63. Kind of like to see that. I don't have these get popped up all that often. Then we'll get into the market data news that we're expecting for today. All that fun stuff. Excuse me. Get all these alerts sent out. Make sure everyone knows that we're live. What's going on, Bob? Good morning. All right, so for our market data today, I don't think we have anything outside of 10, just the consumer confidence today. Tomorrow's the big one with the FOMC meeting. For FOMC, and we'll cover this multiple times throughout the stream today, I'm sure, we have a 97% chance of no rate cut, and that is pretty unchanged for really all the way until June, maybe even July. So probably going to be staying at this current 350, 375 for the next 5 months. No change there. That should leave the market relatively unimpacted. Now, what I do want to pull up, not to trade it, but just to take a look at and kind of reassure or restate this point. If you guys are trading silver for whatever reason, please don't get yourself in that hole. Silver is trading at 110 right now. Every 20 cents on one silver contract, one SI contract, is $1,000 on one contract. That's per 20-cent move. Because of the volatility, this thing is moving about $1 a candle on the 15-minute time frame. So that's $5,000 up or down. There's not really much TA that goes along with it. Now, you guys can argue with me there, but for the most part, there is essentially no TA associated with the moves on silver in terms of getting in accurately on an SI contract. If you have the capital for it, go for it. But great example yesterday, trying to short the top. 117.1 was the absolute peak for the body, and then it ended up wicking up 60 cents. So that's a $3,000 wick to the upside, trading on a personal account or trading on X funded account. That's more than likely going to liquidate you. And then it makes the move you want, and then you get into a terrible mindset. You tilt, whatever happens from there. So just do not get sucked into the kind of facade of trading silver right now. What's going on, Bob? Freedom Trader, how you doing? Yeah, the closer it is to 100%, the less likely. Even on a micro contract for silver, the micros are still going to be moving $100 per 20 cents. Or a full dollar move is still $500 in a micro, which is easily the most volatile in the entire market right now. You get a full dollar move on Qs, and that's $4 on one micro. Dollar move on gold, and you're getting $20, $10, depending on if you do one or two micros, versus a dollar move on silver. That's a $500 push, and it's making dollar moves in 15-minute time frames. Should be all set. Please refresh the page. That's weird. I really want to refresh it. I'm having a little difficulty with the stream right now. How was the move on silver last night, Hot? What'd you end up catching on it? The reason that I haven't gotten the grid lines off of gold yet is because I want to make sure that I know that I'm on gold as opposed to MNQ because there's no watermark on the chart. And the watermark, I did add it on and take it off. It just looks disgusting. On the back of Tradevate, it's not really that transparent. I don't know how many ticks, but I made 1,700. I didn't even want to hold that long. Did you have one contract or micros, or what'd you end up going in with? One mini. So that was just under a 40-cent move. Not a tick is every penny. So you had like 35 cents, 35 ticks. Good morning. How you doing, Nate? What's going on? How many micros, how many macros do you trade? How many micros do I trade in the 25K? I did. So for the evals, I go a little harder, and that's why I've been trading live. For Tradeify, these ones I did 3 micros yesterday for the 50Ks. I usually do anywhere from 1 to 2. Asia session, I like doing 2 micros. During New York session, I like doing 1. I will not be trading on Lucid today because this is qualified for a payout. And I'll go over to their dashboard right now because a lot of people, what's going on, Mike? Good morning. Callie, good morning. I only had 2 trades yesterday, Amir. I really like how the Edgeful dashboard looks. I think a lot of people don't understand, not Edgeful, the Lucid dashboard. So these accounts are qualified for a payout. And my favorite part about this dashboard is that they end up showing you everything that you need. I've already met the consistency goal, but when I hit that consistency, it shows you like $45 left, $120 less, whatever it might be. But the only downside is they get processed end of day, so kind of stinks there. So I have to wait until 6. But the benefit to that is that the payouts are within my bank account within 50 seconds to a minute after I request the payout. So they're instant, which is really nice. What's going on, Deem? How you doing? What days do you live trade on YouTube? I checked yesterday and couldn't find you. Just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with Edgeful. Sorry about that, guys. I just got dropped there for a minute. I'll get the link back up here. Get dropped there for a minute. Let's go to technical issues. We'll see at the end of the stream if the recording gets uploaded. All right, we can go into the data for today now. I don't need to take a look at Lucid. We can also X out of. We don't have any data outside of 10, so just one data point on that. Make sure that I get off of Lucid and exit all market just in case I hit something wrong. Ooh, 20-point dump on gold just before open here. Then we can go into the edge pool data. So for our gap fill down today, we do have a pretty good chance of filling it, especially because it lines up with the previous day in London gap that is present right here at 627.60. So we get logged in here. Been watching your videos, good stuff, man. Thank you, Levi. Okay, so for our gap fill stats, what we're looking at is third bracket here. Actually not looking, sorry, that was in SPY. SPY's gapped up 0.23, so that one's not nearly as large of a gap as Q's. That also doesn't have that previous day in London gap. So this gap should fill today, this gap between that previous day's high and London low, pre-market low. We should proceed down to 627.53. And then for our gap fill stat on Qs, we have a 50-50 chance. So it's not that significant that we get a fill, but with this previous day in London gap, that should drag price down to that level. All right. Will MNQ break out of the range today? It should. The 24-hour range, though, we did have a fake break to the downside. Now we're actually over the top of that trend. So this one has a pretty good chance with that fake break that we had to have a pretty good continuation, at least for the next, I mean, this should push for at least the next 3 months based on the break. And the way that you get these implied breaks, oh, sorry, guys. Good news is I wasn't talking that long. So the question was if we are going to have a continuation on this break. I had to clear my throat, excuse me. This should be about a 3-month break. So the pattern's been established since October 29th. So you just drag a trend line on there for the distance of the pattern, trend, whatever it is. And then we should have a peak breakout on about April 23rd. that should be what we're anticipating for some kind of implied move, which would be just over 8%, because that's the distance from the bottom to the top of that trend. Then you drag that out, and this should play out over the next 3 months, sorry. So till April. Little lesson on pattern breaks there for you guys. But we don't really have much of a strong thesis in the open. This is an outside day, so we should have a draw to 627.61. Not sure how we would be able to play that into open. It's probably going to happen right on that opening 15-minute. So if we wanted to, we could get in aggressively at open. It's not part of the rules that I chase, though. So we're going to wait for that first 15-minute opening candle. The level is going to be about, let's see here. Zoom out previous day's high. So the level is going to be about 25,930. So about a 60-point drop from where we are right now is what the implied move would be into open. Okay, recording in progress. Good. Good. And we'll see. A little disappointed with how StreamYard's been working. It's not capturing the streams. Sorry about that, guys. All right, back into a little analyzing here. Nothing for probably the first 30 minutes today. Maybe we might be able to get something out at 9:45. It depends on if we can take out that outside day stat, that high. So for that stat, for anyone wondering, inside bars and outside days, probably some of my two favorite reports on top of the IB. Main reason is because they give very solid price targets. I wouldn't say this is an ultimate reversal. It's a 0.5% gap, and then our fill to that outside day stat. The good news is the gap fill is all the way down at 625.73. So our outside day is 627. Usually for these gap fills, you have a strong continuation into close. Let's see if I can find one here. Kind of like what we had on Friday, January 16th, where that low of day was almost in line with where we closed. And then you had an attempt at that reversal back up, and then it ended up reversing the next day. But for the outside days, usually they line up decently well with where we close. This one did not. This is 627.58. This ended up being closed all the way down at 625.46. both on the cloud. Let's see if it's my cloud storage. Maybe it is my cloud storage. Let's see. If you guys have any questions for me here, let's see. What's going on, Mark? How you doing? Good morning. A little confused. I thought the London 50 was 4 a.m. to open, but you've got yesterday's going to the high day from yesterday's. Yeah, this is London 50 right here, this little box. We have a gap between London 50 and previous day's high. That's why it looks a little odd. But for these gaps, we usually get a fill. This is a pretty large lack of liquidity in these levels. A lot of orders that get unfilled, and we usually proceed and go and hit that stat. What's the outside day stat? The outside day stat is referring to the chance that we have a reversal, and that's when price opens outside of previous day's range. So the inside bar stat's what we played yesterday, and I'll draw this and we'll go into a little recording here. So here's our previous day's range, Friday going into Monday. Let me delete this. That's our previous day's range right there. Now, when we opened, we were within that range. We're targeting a break of previous day's high or previous day's low, and it just needs to break by a penny or two. That is the inside bar stat. The outside bar stat is the opposite of that stat. So you're looking for a break of previous day's high or previous day's low. For the outside bar stat, you're looking for a retest or a reversal back to previous day's high or previous day's low. In this case, we gapped up. We're up 0.5%. So we will be looking for a retracement down to previous day's high and then either continue up from there or we'll continue that momentum down. That's what we'll see. Oops. Actually, I do need to do that. View online. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure the stream recording gets all set here. Doesn't want to seem to work for me. So that's how you go about looking for it's regular trading hours is the high. It usually establishes it on its own, but for that previous market, previous pre-market data, sometimes I target that low. Sometimes I just look for the regular trading hours high. The stat itself is for the regular trading hours. It's not for the pre-market levels. Not going to try to play the gap fill. That will be in line with the gap fill. That will be in line with the gap fill. So that drop that we're anticipating down to 627.54, if we do get a gap fill, the reason I'm not going to be targeting the gap fill stat is because it's only a 50-50 on Qs right now, 47%, 53%. So it's not super likely that we get a move to the downside. It's lined up with what price typically is, which is just 50-50. Closer a stat is the 50-50, the less I want to play it. I think this might actually fix it. Let's see. Might have ran out of storage. Sell zone. I pass my evals and get my first payout. Trading the 50-minute time frame. Beautiful. Silent. Hey, Zinc, like your content being as you trade futures contracts, can you explain your thought process behind charting QQQ and SPY? Yes. So the reason I chart these two, we're open now, by the way. The reason that I chart these two, Qs and SPY, and then just go over and trade it on TradeVate, MNQ and MES have slippage on it. So that slippage correlates directly into not being able to have as accurate data as you would on Qs. A great example of this is on Monday's price action for SPY taking out. Might have been Friday, actually. Let's see. Friday, yes. So Thursday and Friday last week, SPY did not take out its previous day's high, but MES did, previous day's low, sorry. So MES actually wicked all the way down another 3 points of slippage, took out previous day's low, and that changed how you would have viewed it if you were just looking at MES for data. We got a quick wick into that previous day's gap. Very nice, Steve. If we can get over London 50, we might change our bias up here a little bit. One downside to what we're looking at right now is that we also don't have SPY and Qs lined up. I'll actually go and pull gold up. Gold zoom. We don't have SPY and Qs lined up for the outside day stat. SPY already took it. Okay, I'm going to end up, I'll be right back onto the stream. Let me refresh this one more time, see if that captures the recording. Okay, let's see if that fixes it. Hopefully it does. And we'll see. Got plenty of storage on OneDrive now. And we'll worry about that another time. All right, so decent rejection off London 50. I really want to see that outside bar get filled. 627.57 is the level that we need to go and hit. That's previous day's high. No more trading for the day, Steve. And we'll get Apex open over here. We had a little flash crash last night on, I wouldn't really call it a flash crash, actually. Scratch that. Pretty significant drop last night on gold and silver. Please explain about your entry is confusing every day. Someday you enter at 50% bullback. Well, it's not super mechanical. You have tuition that goes along, or intuition that goes along with your entries. And nothing in the market is going to be super mechanical. Andre made a great point of this when we had that joint stream not too long ago. Your entries for some of these trades, they're going to be vastly different than they were 3 weeks ago or 2 months ago or 6 months ago. You're going to be adapting. So yesterday, I got in early on the IB. And I actually, when we had that entry, it was at 25.8. So this wick that we had down to 25.8 yesterday, at 25.801. Entered on that retest of 25.8 because it validated that 25.8 was going to be a significant level. It was a psych level. It's a nice round number for us to have a continuation up off of. So we entered early on that trade, targeting the IB high. We were up 124 maybe in 40 seconds. And then I ended up securing the $124. Was it early to the IB stat? Yes. We were also targeting that previous day's high, which ended up taking. It was on. This is also a great example of why I use Qs and not MNQ. These two candles are the same right here, 945 and 10, as they are on QQQ. However, you can see that on QQQ, the wick on the 945 candle is higher than the wick on the 10 o'clock candle. So this one ended up wicking down to 624.46. This one wicked down to 624.50. Whereas if we go over to MNQ, that 945 candle ended up wicking down more. So that's why I use Qs as opposed to using MNQ. And there is our outside bar stat fulfilled already. Shoot. Excuse me. I'm all raspy from snow blowing so much. Outside bar stat fulfilled. And that was a fantastic morning. Nice rolling. Glad to hear. That was a 65% chance that we got that reversal to the outside bar stat. And that's also a gap fill of the previous day in London gap, which we don't really see those that often. So I should have actually gone in with that. Oh, well. Oh, well. Probably going to get a continuation right to that gap on that, but we'll see if we get a bounce off previous day's high. So outside bar stat fulfilled. Also got a fulfillment of the slightly gap fill, 50% gap fill. We had the previous day in London gap filled, so that got a nice little validation to it. That one's about a 92% chance of happening. The only thing that I've noticed with those gaps is for the days that they're super, super large. So this one it still draws to it, but it doesn't fill it that day. This one from Friday into Tuesday, which this 3-day weekend could have thrown it off as well. This one ended up filling on the following Wednesday. So still a pretty good move. What a move on gold. Pretty crazy move on SPY as well, MNQ. The gap fill star is targeting the prior close. Yes. So this gap fill is targeting all the way down to what was our close yesterday? It's targeting down to this level, 625.46. That's the gap fill stat. So it wants price to go down to 625. This one I wouldn't put a lot of emphasis on because it's only a 50-50 chance. So I think we should get a pretty, if we go down to 50% of the gap fill, when you can customize that right here, you can go to 50% of the gap filling. We've filled well over 50% of it right now. So this open to the gap. Actually, I guess we haven't. Just barely missed it. The open to that gap is a 76% chance we fill half of it. But I usually just like looking at the full thing. I don't know what's going on with my voice today. Too much cold air. Sorry about that. Good bounce off previous day's high. I'd like to see with this move the previous day's high. SPY is looking a little stronger as well. With this move the previous day's high, I'd like to see this hold and then end up going and forming a new IBI. That'd be nice. Which it is holding pretty well. How much you end up making today, Roland? Why do you trade NQ? It's the slippage that's on Qs. MNQ, sorry. There's slippage on MNQ. There is not slippage on Qs. So the data is a lot more accurate using QQQ. The trades are a lot more accurate using QQQ. If you guys are looking, and I just use this example right here, 9:45 and 10 yesterday. I think our entry was actually on one of these two candles with that retest. So 9:45, this candle has a higher wick. This candle has a lower wick. And then vice versa for these two. This candle has a lower wick. This candle has a higher wick. So interesting stat there. That would have been a really good long off previous day's high. Really good long. Gold's pushing pretty aggressive too. If I had a penny for every time I had to answer that, yeah, no kidding. Everyone will start using Qs soon enough. That's how I've been doing for a long time. Chart spying QQQ while trading futures. Yep. What's going on, KP? How you doing? Yes. The slippage is what will get you. 200, there you go. That's what I'm up right now, Roland. 205.70. Gold's getting a pretty nice push. Strong rejection on the 5-minute for Qs. They're still waiting for that first 15-minute. Probably going to sit out for that first 30 minutes just because we do have that data coming up here. This isn't really that established of a trend either because we're still gapped up 0.4%. The trend was very clearly up overnight. You can see that by going on to MNQ. I mean, if you guys traded or took place in this move last night, this was about as trendy as it can get with 0 pullbacks. And that was all the way until 2 a.m. And then we finally got a little pullback. But absolutely nothing you get it done on this with entries. I tried getting an entry on M&Q longs last night. I even typed that out and said, I'm looking for this for the M&Q longs. Pull back down. I even like a 10-point pullback would have done it for me. But last night we quite literally peaked at maybe a 4-point pullback at best. So nothing we could have done there. Just tip your hat to it, move on. MGC was the same thing. This one actually had no trend last night for the first time on Asia for a long time. This is a account blowing type of move. The only trade that I think I got on MGC last night was a very small one, and I honestly got a little lucky on it. Almost got wicked out on the 9 o'clock candle, and then it ended up rebounding for me. I only got 5 points on that, or 7, something like that. Not very much, but still good enough. You mentioned gold getting a nice push, and I've been thinking about longs. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm happy to see that SPY and Qs are lined up. As long as Qs end up taking a new high with SPY, I'm fine for the day. I have on Apex right now, I have 1,100 in drawdown. I have the accounts at 26,150. So you open and close on M&Q at the same time when QQQ reaches your target. Yeah. Yep. The IB, it's actually favorable for doing this with the IB trade. With the slippage, sometimes you get a little lucky on M&Q. Sometimes you get unlucky. With the IB, it usually establishes the same high or low. Very few times I've seen it make a new high on M&Q and not make a new high on Qs. But I usually switch between these often enough that I just go and exit the trade when QQQ hits its full TP. What's the data showing for today? I'm bearish, but the retracement's not looking good. The data is lit up like a Christmas tree right now. We have no bias so far for today. Bullish, bearish, bullish, bullish, bearish, 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 bullish, bearish, bearish. And these ones are actually a lot more bearish. SPY, ES, NQ. These ones I don't really look at because, I mean, they're all, it's just repeat data points. This is really only 3 bearish. SPY and ES are the same thing. QQQ and NQ are the same thing. YM and RTY. Those ones are the only 2 that are different. RTY is IWM, and YM is, I actually still don't know what the ticker for YM is. But everything is mix and match right now, so I wouldn't put too much emphasis on this. Gap fill by size. This one's not really doing anything for us either. I think that we're going to maintain bullish. SPY did just make a new high, so the IB would be targeting a high. This should follow suit on Qs and then have a nice continuation to the upside. Okay, just a second. I'll get some tea real quick. My wife heard my voice and made me some tea. I took that open trade, had 6 MGC in that trade, sold up 150x20, up another 1K. Oh, whatever. You live stream on Mondays and Fridays? I do, just not on Edgeful. Thank you, No Handle J. DIA is YM. Finally. So I bet that one even has slippage on it as well. 490. This one actually looks pretty illiquid. Immediate improvement on the voice. Thanks to the T. We should continue this expansion up. We got a fill of that previous day in London Gap, which I should have played. I should have pulled the trigger on that. Kind of open in no man's land with that last 15-minute candle. What I'd like to see for a level break is at least, and this is all going to get skewed over by that 10 o'clock data. I'd like to see a break of this over 629.43. And I had a call with, I don't know how many of you guys know Ash Trades. I had a call with him yesterday. And we just had a pretty funny connection with the fact that last week, I don't think I had a trade during New York session last week. I think we had one on Friday, maybe, if we entered that IB a little early. One of the days we entered the IB early, or I had one loss on Thursday. But those trades and the idea of getting into trades and taking multiple trades, if you guys come into the market every day, obviously we're looking to take a trade. We're looking for a setup to present itself, but do not feel like you have to take a trade for that day. Like there's multiple days in the past month that I've had maybe like a $34 day or like a $50 day on those Apex accounts, which obviously if it's scaled over 20, it's still really good. But for those accounts, that's pretty much a break-even day. NQ is bullish AF. I saw it bias. It is very bullish right now. I signed up for Apex 25K accounts. Can you send me some resources on what to do next? What's going on, Hunter? How you doing? You're in Rod Castilli's PTR room? I don't know what that is, Sean. Nearly just took a new high right there. So we want to see, we do want to see a new high get taken. I think I'm going to take an entry off London 50. It depends on what the data wants to give us at 10 as well. We have 7 minutes for that. Oh, I didn't have a trade last night, Arvin. What I was saying is there was no pullback. This is as trendy as it can get. This is picture perfect on what you would want to enter a trade in. Obviously, this is on the 15-minute time frame, so you would have been in this trade. Let's say you entered right at 6 o'clock last night, that 6 p.m. open. You would have been in this trade for 4 hours to make a decent amount of money. It still was 100 points at the end of those 4 hours, but each candle on the 15-minute time frame, these were moving maybe 5 points. 5 to 7 points on the way up. Some were even 2 points. There we go. There's a new IB high. So our bias is now bullish. Very nice to see. A little regretful that I didn't take the shorts and then switch it right into longs. Shorts to that previous day in London Gap fill, but we did manage to get, I think we had that drawn on. Yeah, there we go. That's the arrow we had drawn earlier. So good bounce off previous day's high. That's the outside bar stat fulfilled, or outside day stat fulfilled, and then I'm looking for a continuation. Confluence for entrance is, I just like to look for a pullback. Doesn't need to be exactly 50%. There is, and I think this is why I've been getting the most amount of questions on is like, why did we enter yesterday early on the IB? you need to have intuition or some general knowledge on momentum. Yesterday, very good example of it. We entered early because of that 25.8 retest, and you could see the explosive wick that we had off 25.8. So I entered at about 25.814. We sold it maybe 40 seconds later. Even though that one was an early entry, we had bullish momentum for the entire day yesterday, excluding the last 15-minute candle. So this move all the way from that 4 a.m. open for the entire day was bullish, excluding the last candle. Same exact thing for last night. The move that we had last night was nothing but bullish movement for the entire night. We had a little pullback at 3 a.m., little pullback just now, but the entire thing has been bullish so far. Man, does not want to give us a retest, huh? Shoot. Missed 2 plays so far today, I'd say. I should have taken that short and then switched right into long in the opening candle. Just pumped right through it. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Frenchie missed the same entry that I was looking for. Also, finally, this is an added confluence that we haven't seen for a very long time. And I've been mentioning this for weeks now, but for weeks it hasn't lined up. Now we're finally starting to see, I think, hopefully, we're starting to see a massive cool off with silver and gold. Silver should be trading at like 105 right now, right? 104. That's a delayed contract. What's the actual one for silver? H6? Yeah, there we go. No, that doesn't seem right. What's the right silver contract? G6? I don't know. Anyway, it should be trading at like 104, 103. The cool off that we're having now, obviously I'm not saying that it's going to switch the trend, because I'm not going to be one of those guys that says he was right after a very, very tiny pullback after this 400% move that we've had. The candles countering what Q's is doing is an added confluence. And it's pretty apparent with what we just had to open. We had a green opening candle, red opening candle. This candle is pretty big for a red candle in gold recently. And we obviously have this big old green candle in Q's. SILH. Thank you. So it's trading at 107 right now. 106, 107. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I'm going to see if we can catch a continuation. I'm looking for the same pullback, man. I need some luck. Or are we getting hit by something else? Man, it's really only Q's that's up right now. It's not a whole lot else that's up. Semiconductors, maybe? No, that's about it. I don't know what we're running off today. We have consumer confidence in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Hopefully that gives us the wick. Then we can go and take out a Newsweek high. I wish I can play music on the YouTube streams. I'm looking for 2100. Dollar total P&L. He's up 270 on the day. Look at him. Looks like you sized down quite a bit from what you were doing on those 150Ks. The data is coming out here in 30 seconds. Hopefully that data gives us the wick we're looking for. We want down and then up. My Wi-Fi is bugging from all the snow. Google went down momentarily yesterday too. They fixed it a lot faster than Verizon did, but it was down for a little tiny bit. All right. Let's see if we can get a pullback here. Take your own ideas with 1MNQ and just reap the results. Same exact thing that I said to Steve yesterday. Steve and I had a little call after the live. I think a lot of people are thinking too much, and I'm victim to this as well. Thinking too much before you get into a trade and you end up scaring yourself out of a good trade. You're regretful that you didn't take that good trade, and then you end up going and taking a bad trade because you want to make some kind of money. And then that bad trade ends up costing you for the day. And then it's a never-ending cycle of doing that. So thinking too much, worrying about what the trades are doing, and then you end up missing the trade. Not going to be entering long quite yet. It's a little too early. I want SIL on here. A little too early to enter long. Even though that was a good pullback, it was still only about 20 points. We would have entered probably at 26.40-ish and then targeting the high. So 20-ish points, 1 to 2 MNQ. Not that big of a reward. You want a larger pullback than this. Hopefully we end up going and making a new high like 631.50, 631.60, and then come back down, retest London 50, which will also line up with IB 50. That would be ideal. Gold's definitely looking pretty bearish right now as well. How's the stream quality today, everyone? I did just rewire my PC, so the quality should be a little bit better. Yeah, it looks better. Just pull it up full screen. First time in a while, though, we might actually have a short bias for gold, or a valid reason to short gold. A lot of people are getting caught off sides with the silver and gold move. And there is also a pretty nasty liquidation issue right now with people trying to sell their gold and silver. Gold's not as hard, but silver is. You have everyone trying to undercut it by like 30%. Is Lucid down? Their website? Let's see. I'll go into their Discord. Probably is. Yeah, it looks like their Discord saying it's down. My guess is they probably had a lot of people end up blowing accounts with the moves that we just had right here. Gold just had a what's the drop on that? After everyone's been bullish on it for so long, gold just had like a 30-point drop. and MNQ just had a 100-point push. So probably a lot of blown accounts right there. And then all those people going onto their website to buy new accounts probably crashed it. Once I build my buffers on the 25Ks, I only need to make 1K to get a 1K payout. Yes. I'll show you right now, and you're saying you have to log in. I'll pull it up on my Tradeovate. So for the Lucid accounts, KP, and this is why I think the 25Ks are probably some of the easiest to get payouts with. For the Lucid accounts, you need a $1,000 buffer, and then you need to make 1,000 over that. So you need to get the max payout, you need to have 27.1 for a balance. I have 27.184, and then I can take 1,000 per account. $150K is asked for a 9K and then get a 3K payout. The ratio is crazy. I think it's because people think the 25Ks are inherently more difficult. They're really not. If you're trading one MNQ, it's the same as going on a 150K account and trading one MNQ with the drawdown ratios and all that. Finally getting a good pullback here. Looking for a price to get to London 50, then we can go long. 629.45. And for this one, it's going to be on Tradeify, so we're going to go in 3 MNQ, maybe 2. 2 might be a little bit better with the range that we have. So we get our ideal entry. It's going to be about 26,000 flat. 60 points, 120, 240, 360. 360 is a decent risk. Yeah, we can keep it with 3. SPY is right at 50% right now. This one will be a little early, but we can try it on SPY. So long 4 MES. Oops. And then we'll have the stop at IB low. We'll have the take profit at IB high. So long 4 MES. That just hit IB 50. I know it is a lot earlier than we would usually get into the trade, but we're being a little more aggressive with the way that price is trending. Long 4 MES IB 50. Target IB high. And we're looking for this to make about a 7-point move, 8-point move. It's not very much, but and then we go over to SPY, watch it on here, flip back and forth every once in a while. But for Lucid, your DDL will be daily, your max loss on it will be moved at 26.1. Thus you'll be, no, your daily loss limit doesn't get moved up with it. So my buffer, oops, do that. My buffer on the accounts for Lucid gets moved up to 25.1. That's the highest the daily loss, the max loss limit will go, 25.1. So once it's at 25.1, I have no worry about, if I go to 25.1, I blow the account, yes. But it doesn't go higher than that. We're up 65 right now. A little too early to move the stop to break even, I think. 70. Yeah, we can get to, no, why not? We move to break even. Stop loss at break even. We have a risk-free trade now. The only thing that we'll get hit by is fees. What I like to do on Lucid accounts is I like to hang right around 26.1, 26.2. because the payout feature on Lucid going to live isn't really that good. So I'd rather not take that large of a balance to live anyway. It's not that big of a deal. Really like gold rejecting here as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take the 100 out for 100 profit. Damn fees. Nice win. Get the same trade on Apex as well. Why did I go on MES there instead of Qs? End up missing some more profit just like yesterday. Qs was not anywhere near 50%. SPY was. And I should have slapped this on before as well, but there's our London 50 right there on SPY. I had it on my Trade of 8 chart over to the left. I should have put it on here, but you can see finally got an entry off London 50 and that IB 50. And I'm taking a little word of my own advice and not thinking as much. Oh, Ardu, you poor guy. You came in a minute too late. Unless you got those longs. You gonna head out? Sounds good, buddy. For Lucid 25K, I already read that one. Is it the same for the Flex and Pro accounts? It is the same, but the Flex accounts don't have a consistency target. I don't really like the Lucid Flex accounts, I'm gonna be honest. I usually only get I did try one of the black accounts, but I've found that, and the same thing for Tradeify Select, because these ones are also 3 day to pass. The 3 days to pass is kind of a kicker, because that means you need to find 3 different quality setups over 3 days, as opposed to having a really solid trend day. And I guess I'm kind of coping a little bit because we were at 50,800. Well, we're back over our distance to drawdown finally, but we were at 50,800. Took a $300 loss last Thursday. Had it been 1 day to pass, I probably would have sized up a little bit more when we made that 800 on this day right here. It was 0121. And the reason we made 800 on that day was because we had a combined like 1,200 point move. I mean, even on ES, this was 120 points up, 100 points down, 140 points back up. So capitalizing on days that have really nice trends like that, that's when you end up getting your big profit days and pass the evals fast. You follow that $800 day with a day where the IB ends up losing, and now you kind of reset a significant amount of your progress, especially because the drawdown trails. It's not that big of a deal, but I prefer the 1 day to pass. That's why I like the 25K pros. All the other Lucid plans, they require you to pass in multiple days, which kind of stinks. I would have just barely stopped that on that. Good deal. Good deal. Good secure on that, I think. Finally got a London 50 entry. Anyone managed to get those longs? Or was that a little too fast as well? Finally got a London 50 entry. I got him. There you go. Awesome. Gold's pulling back. That should validate a little bit higher on Qs and SPY both. Good trade. Thank you. And gold is dumping right now. So we should get a nice push on both SPY and Qs. I gotta start my GS car. The cold killed their battery. Needs to be replaced. Yeah, how'd everyone hold up with the snow this week? / weekend. I just finished snow blowing this morning for the 3rd time. It was disgusting. We got probably... It's a little hard to measure because the more snow you get, the more packed down it gets. But in total, I bet we probably got like 28 inches, if not more. It's disgusting. 2 years ago, we had like a -40 cold stretch where it froze the battery solid in my car. It's terrible. It is frozen. I'm trying to get hired. Mine's 15 inches. I brought some Pro instead of Flex by mistake after reading all your suggestions. I'm aiming for base hits every day, 1 MQ, average 68 win, $40 loss. Feeling great by suppressing the pressure of big numbers. There you go. Yeah, don't be greedy. 7 inches in southeast Missouri. What state am I in? I'm in Maine. So it's a little, I mean, we're used to this type of weather. The rest of the country got shut down. Southern states that were not prepared for it. Ooh. So we want another pullback to take that same trade. We want to hit London 50 again. I don't like that we just barely missed taking out that high, which kind of stinks, but SPY and Qs are a little off right now. As long as we get a pullback, we can go and take that same trade. Gold's getting a pretty nice move right now. It's not really moving that much, actually. Spot to pull back a little bit more for us to get an entry. No news. I don't have any more news for the rest of the day. We don't have, I mean, really anything for the rest of the 2 days, next 2 days. We do have FOMC at 2 and 2:30 tomorrow, but that's it. We don't have any morning data. So tomorrow's going to be pretty rough. Pretty bare. I do think we're going to get a nice long continuation here, but I'm probably going to end up taking it on SPY as opposed to taking it on Qs because Qs is not offering an ideal pullback. And we're actually going to make a new high on both of them. Earnings kick off tomorrow too. That'll probably bring more volatility than FOMC. Everyone's anticipating the same cut / pause for FOMC. So we probably won't get anything for that tomorrow. No movement for that anyway. Sad I can't play music on the YouTube streams. Listen to the old country. I do play it on my headset, but wish I could broadcast it. Still want a better pullback than what we're looking at right now. Gold for the IB. This one useless. The IB on gold sucks. So we go over to initial balance by rejection on gold. Doesn't really matter what weekday we pull up, but they're all about the same. Wednesday is the 50-50-50-50 one, which is kind of funny to look at. For today, we have the high form first. So this one's also like a 50-50 chance that goes and actually breaks the low. KP, are you in here right now? FOMC's tomorrow, not today. It is tomorrow at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Rate cut decision, rate hike decision. It's going to be a pause. They're not getting anything from it. Sorry to burst your bubble. Yeah, don't trade gold during New York. That was one of my bigger fixes as well. Not touching gold during New York. What's your decision on the Asia stream? We can have one a week. The only thing I don't want to get forced into or kind of back myself up into is I just don't want to get into a stream like last night where we don't have anything present whatsoever. Like last night, gold didn't do anything. The only thing we would have been able to do was on MNQ, but there was no entry for long. So it would have been a nothing burger for the stream. And I obviously don't want to end up sitting there for an X amount of time doing nothing. I want price to move. Last night was pretty funny, actually. We had a good bias for both gold and MNQ. We just didn't get an entry model on either of them, which was the sucky part. We are going to be looking long here in a moment. We got 7 minutes, so we're in the front run window. The small issue, MES, 5-point break. MNQ, from where we are right now anyway, is only a 30-point break. Only a 30-point. It's not too bad on MNQ. MES, not really anything, though. We want a lot more in those. The Monday and Friday lives are not on here. They're within the Discord that Leo and I have. We might be able to get along here in a minute. We're getting a good pullback on the two of them. I just need a little bit more. Both SPY and Qs look pretty good. Qs, I just want more. Gonna be a little greedy. Greedy for the pullback. It's not a bad thing. Greedy for a better entry is not a bad thing. Greedy for more money in a position is a bad thing. There's a difference. And this tea really saved my voice this morning. No changes yet. Pretty lackluster entry if we do end up getting it. Gold's probably going to go and take the IB high. Yesterday, we did end up having a double break, but we actually had 1 to the downside, 2 to the upside, 3 to the downside, 4 to the upside, 5 breaks on the IB yesterday, which doesn't get calculated after 2, but that's still a pretty rare occurrence to see. Kind of funny. Not quite at 50 yet. Only thing I don't like on SPY is how close it gets to the high. SPY, we might as well wait for 50%. We could take it on MNQ right now, and that would be a 30-point break. It would be over here. Oh, 30 points isn't bad. It's not really at that valid of a level for us to take it. If it holds that previous day's high, that'd be, or London high, that'd be a lot better. Which it's going to. Where do you want it to pull back to? SPY, I want it to pull back to 50%. London 50. I might take the entry, depending on this next 3-minute close, I might take the entry a little early on them. Yesterday was a little bit different as well because our reward on the upside move from where we entered at 25.8. Our reward was 60 points. And that was also with 30 minutes left on the IB. So it had more than enough potential to go and form another high, which it did. It ended up pushing 85 points. And then the high finally formed at 898. So it was just about a 100-point break on the IB yesterday. That one, a lot different than what we're looking at today, where it's still a good trade, but it's just not that big of a risk reward entering right now. Because our stop loss also has to be put at the bottom of the IB because that's where it's invalidated. We'd have a 150-point stop loss with this trade right now. Even though yesterday we did go in 1-to-1. Still a little different. I think it's going to take it pretty quick into this candle. But I just want a little bit more reward if we could get it. Five-minute looks all right as well. Opening candle continuations green, so we should close today green. Already had our downside draws filled. $30 points, $180. We could do 1-to-1. SPY is looking a lot better now. Qs is looking stronger. SPY is looking weaker. Gold's also getting a pullback, so that should also validate a nice push up on these two. Decisions. The reward's not really there for me right now. If I can get a good pullback and get a change state delivery off it, I'm confident that daily candle will close 26,100. Yeah, that's 23 points above where we trade to this level. Sorry. Yeah, it's 23 points above the IB high, so it's very possible we go and hit that. Gold also just got a pretty massive reversal right there. It's another somewhat valid trade. How's the 5-minute look here? 5-minute on SPY doesn't look too good. I'd be okay with going in 1-to-1 on MNQ right now. We'd have 180 point reward, 180 point loss. We can do it. So I'll sell 15, and then the stop loss will be 30 points on this. Which will be down here, so 15 stop. And that is going to be looking for a long to high day. Long 3 MNQ to IB high, off London high. 30 point reward. That was 1-to-1 on that. Let's see if we can get the IB high on it. These ones are on evals as well. These aren't on funded accounts. I am in the same trade on the Apex accounts, just not the same size. So we'll do 1-to-1, and we have for the IB by rejection for today. Tuesday, we have a, oh, I forgot about that. Tuesdays are on a hell of a streak for the IB low into the IB high. I'll get the stop move to break even here pretty soon as well. It's at 50. We'll trail a stop 50 points behind, or $50 behind, so we can move it up to a 20-point risk now. So just pushed up 10. So stop moved up to 20 points. Might be a little early, but I'm going to try to trail it behind it. That's what I've been doing with the Apex trades. It's been working pretty well. How did your payouts go? Unfortunately, I have to request them tonight. R2, D2. Oh my gosh, I said it. R2, D2. Whoo! My tongue tie is gone. Unfortunately, I have to wait until tonight. Stop loss at break even on this trade now. Could also secure the 100. I'll leave the stop at break even. It will be a little. I'm gonna try to leave it. I love Star Wars. I have R2. Go on the YouTube stream, KP. I have R2D2. Literally right here. I have a Lego version of him on the desk behind me. I've never heard of anyone. Okay. Hop off my back. I've never heard of anyone having a hard time pronouncing his name, but good on you, finally. I couldn't say it for the life of me. I don't know why. Thanks for your time, Zink. Off to work. See you, Mark. I don't know what was wrong with my tongue tie, but I could not say it. Rather not get stopped at break even on this. Time to buy UNH. Did it fall again? Oof. Time to buy UNH Healthcare, maybe. Yeah, you could buy it. I think Yeah, it's probably a better for your opportunity to buy it. I'd be scared with another outcome of last earnings, another follow through of last earnings. Push a little bit more for me. Everyone blow on your screen. It should make it. Come on. Come on. Whatever. Out at 150 profit. Ooh, another nice round number. Out at 150 profit on that. And I got closed on Apex. Oop, missed a little bit. That's okay. Of course, I got out on that wick low. Bastard. IB high taken, and yet again, a perfect example as to why we look at QQQ and not MNQ. QQQ just took the IB high. MNQ was late to the party. So we actually we only missed the secure by maybe 6 cents. We would have capitalized on like another $10, if that. Beautiful trade on the IB. The reward actually wasn't 30 points. The reward was only 28. Even it's 2 points less, but it's still 2 points of slippage on MNQ. Beautiful. IB is taken on almost both SPY and Qs. Gold's probably going to go take the eye and slap a big old middle finger on everyone that's trying to take this stat. But, oops, error occurred. Another win for a Tuesday. That's going to bring it up to like 90%, surely. It has to. Linked on my Twitter, SS. Twitter is Mr. ZincX. I waited and made it. My free combine from Top Step. Today's profits. There you go, Sam. Just a few times R2D2 for Edgeful. That's crazy how M and Q follow. They're the same thing. M and Q and QQ are the same thing. Neither one of them is following the other one. They are the same asset. Perfect trade. Missed maybe, if we shined our crystal ball enough today, we missed maybe another 10 points, if that. 2 days in a row, guys. 2 days in a row where we've traded the IB like we used to back in October and November last year. The IB is starting to come back to life for us. Beautiful. Lovely, lovely. Sorry I missed it earlier. Why do you prefer Lucid 25K over 50K? Because for the 25K accounts, your profit target to pass the eval is 1250. For the 50K accounts, you need to make 3,000. That's well over 2 times the amount that you have to make just to pass the eval. And then to get your payout on the 50K account, you need to make another $2,600. Lucid 25K, so that's $4,600 to get a payout. That's only $500 more as opposed to the 25K account. The 25K max payout is $1,000. 50K max payout is $1,500 on Lucid. Now that I post comment here, someone will impersonate as Mr. Zink and send me a friend request. Did you get that one, R2? Hopefully you ended up catching that one. The reason I didn't wait for the 50% retracement was the strength behind it again. SPY was a little weaker, and Qs we could all see, I hope we could all see, how strong it was, especially off of London High. So even though we got in a little early on that one, it was a 1-to-1 risk. What I would have done had we lost that trade, I would have waited for 50% retracement and then gone in instead of 3 MNQ. We would have gone in with 2 MNQ, the take profit on that trade. We'll mark it out here on our MNQ chart. So the take profit on that trade, we just took it at 3 MNQ. It was 1-to-1 risk reward. Had we taken a loss, enter with 2 MNQ at IB50, and then have your take profit and stop loss set respectively. The profit on that 2 MNQ moving from 26,000 just about all the way up to 20. It's a 80 point move. Your profit on 80 points on 2 MNQ as opposed to 3 on 28 point move on that one. It would have outweighed the better entry. So what I'm getting at is that just keep the composure. If it does continue to pull back, we enter with a smaller size, but because the risk reward is larger in terms of point moves, it will work itself out for that. A little confusing there, but can I show my IB settings? They are all just what it comes with. So there's nothing's changed on here. It's 9:30 to 10:30. All right, we'll be done for the day there. For trades anyway. Here are my settings for that. Apex is doing a 90% off sale. Are they really? Are they really doing 90% off? Let's see. I don't see it anywhere. You got the text? Damn, I just missed it. Well, good news for all you guys. Apex is doing 90% off again. Go on Twitter, see what all the codes are for it. Good morning, Ben. How you doing? Let's search Apex. And 90% off first month, 50% off recurring. So you guys can get your evals for $19.70, and then the activation fee is $65. Just in time for FOMC. That's probably why they did it, FOMC. I'd just be spooked about the last earnings on UNH if you guys are looking to buy that right now. All right, let's get that IB remains goated tweet out. We'll get it posted over there. I'll get it posted on this one. Ended up getting 209 on Apex today. I'll get the wrong screenshot first, damn it. Actually, let's get the full. We got the previous day in London gap fill. We don't really need that. We didn't take the trade off that, so it's fine. I'll get this screenshot here. Hopefully, you guys are finding the usefulness of the IB stat. I know we're not entering right at 50%. 50% is the best entry that you can get on the trade. The trade itself, you're just looking for a break of the IB high. So you don't need to wait for 50%, but it does give you the best entry that you can get on the trade. You can wait all the way until 75%. You can wait all the way until it hits 50%. Not 50%, 90%, I mean. So you don't need to wait for it to hit. I know that's what I've advertised it as, is waiting for it to hit. But sometimes it's better if you just end up waiting for price to like show what trend is in play. Gosh, I'm getting so many spam calls. I did a little search for healthcare last night. I've just been getting spam call after spam call. It's ridiculous. We played really well today, everyone. Very, very well. Can you please repeat when you turned bullish? Was it liquidity sweep or was it back above the lows? The reason that I switched bullish was because we formed a new IB high. Simple as that. So the I being low was formed pretty much right in the first 5 minutes of that candle, 627.36. And then we went and took out an IB high at 629.60, made a new high. So we switched our bias to longs. We took a long off the retest of 50%. And then we just took the long off the previous pre-market high, not previous day's high. So longs on IB50 on SPY, longs at London high on M&Q. Micros only. Beautiful. We just got our little IB trade, our IB post out. Does Lucid require all strategy documentation? No, they do not. Yep, I buy the 25Ks on Apex as well. 25K accounts across the board, regardless of what prop firm you guys are going to go and trade on. 25K accounts are the best ones. I don't want to hold another year. Just call it a day. No kidding, Roland. They've been miserable to hold. At least futures are making up for it a little bit. Once we do get back on track with those, we'll be fine. And it won't be long. I did that about a month ago and started calling me like crazy for healthcare. I got a call at like 11:30 last night. And then I woke up to like 3 missed calls overnight, and they were all the same exact. Hey, my name's Andre. I'm calling because you reached out for healthcare. Given the deal on Apex, are you more bullish on Lucid for the 25Ks or Apex? Lucid pricing is one and done. Tradeify, thanks. I like them all. I don't have any preference. I do like Lucid for the 25Ks as a base for you to build. They have the easiest payout requirements, fastest payout as well of those accounts, I'd say. Mainly because you can activate the account. It's the difference between Lucid and Tradeify is microscopic. The difference between Lucid and Apex is a little bit bigger because the trailing intraday drawdown and Apex being so strict on what they require you to do with your payouts. For the accounts themselves, the Lucid 25Ks I always go back to when I'm struggling to get payouts or really just in general to have in my portfolio because it's $3,000 that you have to make essentially to get from eval to a payout to a max payout. So $350 to get 5 accounts with Lucid. You use those 5 accounts to fund all of the other accounts that you go and buy. I realize now I was trying to do this with the 50K accounts, but the smarter move is running it with the multiple 25K accounts. The 50K accounts, 100K, 150K accounts, those are for the people that you see on, those ones are more of a cash grab than anything. Those are for the people that you see on social media that will be buying 5 mini silver contracts. And then they go and post. Like I saw one this morning, first post I saw on Twitter this morning. Someone was down $10,000 and they had a $22,000 profit trade on a silver contract from last night because silver was moving like $2 over the course of 15 minutes. Nothing said about the $10,000 loss. The account was probably well in the red prior to that trade going green. But everyone wants to, because the flashy thing right now is how silver is moving, everyone wants to participate in trading silver contracts. So they go and get a 50K account, 100K account, 150K account, blow the account, or you either make 20,000 and now you just have to flip $150 days to get a 5K payout, which is do with it what you want to. I did see some on My Funded Future. Someone did that with a 100K account or a 50K account, and they ended up taking it to, wow, I just got another call. Hi, my name is Ryan. I just got a request for medical coverage. Yeah, okay. IB on Tuesday works perfectly, but not on Thursday. 490 secured for today. Entered 7,000, exit 7,012. There you go. Glad to hear. Usually target 25 to 30% level on IB breakout. On the continuation, so you play past it breaks, past the break. Oh, I see. So you got out. I got you. If we had held that first trade, we only would have made like another. That did actually go and make equal high, so we would have made like another 70 on that. Am I on every morning? I am. Yes. SS. Yes, I am. I made 400K on silver micros on my practice account yesterday. The code for Apex is just saved now, Eddie. I don't think anyone in here has one. It's not like you get much from it in any way. It's like $2. You don't get anything from the activation fees. So if you go and buy 20 accounts, the referral only ends up getting like $40, which I guess is better than nothing. What do I think about this? I think you're doing a good job of waiting for 50%, but there is a little more intuition that goes into the entries and exits. The exits, the reason that I exit early, and I do get some flack for this. Why do I not just wait for the IB high to get taken? I'm not going to be too picky. We exited 3 points early. The true IB high was 26.74, and we exited at 26.71. So not gonna. It's 3 points, basically full TP. For the trades and entering them, this one was another validation for the London 50 model. So we were over London high. We had a closure over on 3 consecutive 15-minute candles. 5-minute looked pretty strong. And again, the reasoning behind the 3 R2. Had we lost on that trade, our risk was down at 26,000, right? So we would have been down 170, 180. We want it to go to IB50, so we go and take another trade at IB50 with 2 MNQ or even 1. So we're down 180 going to the second trade. 1 micro with a 80-point move, that puts us at negative 20. 2 micros, we're up 160 on the day. Either way, it would have worked. Had we gotten stopped out, we would have entered at IB. We would have had a 1-to-1 R on the trade, 2 MNQ, stop loss at IB low, take profit at IB high. Obviously, it worked out very, very well today. But that's how I go about, and the same thing that we did yesterday too. We entered early on it. We entered on the retest of 25.8. Ended up pushing right to the IB high. And this one, funny enough, the break that we had, I think I mentioned this when we were taking the trade yesterday. The high that it formed ended up being a hindsight 50% retest, which sounds a little weird, but I've seen it several times with the London 50, especially during pre-market moves. The London 50 forms, I think it might have even happened yesterday. London 50 forms, and you can see the reaction prior to the London 50 being finalized. So we had our low form at 4 a.m. We had our high form right at 9:15. Look at all the rejections we had on the London 50 before it even got formed. So it's just, I've noticed it happen a few times, and I also goes into what I was saying this morning about thinking less with the trades that we're getting into, which I'm going to try doing a little bit better about. It's so easy to talk yourself out of getting into a trade. Not as easy to talk yourself out of getting into a trade, into a losing trade. So you can easily talk yourself into getting into a trade. You can say, oh, yeah, I'm going to take this here because I missed my other trade. So I'm just going to go 1-to-1 on this. I'm going to go for $50 or 5 points or whatever it might be. As opposed to us looking at these trades on the IB and being like, I don't want to take it because of this. I don't want to take it because of that. I don't really like this here. I don't really like this here. So I'm not going to take it. And then it ends up doing exactly what you thought it would. Yep, Arvin, we just got a $150 win, $150 win on MNQ, and we got a $100 win on MES. All right, guys, that will do it for the stream today. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll be live again tomorrow morning. 2 back-to-back perfect prints on the IB. Very happy to see. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. See you later. For everyone that is in the YouTube and X streams, thank you for tuning in. If you want more of me on Twitter, we have 1,045 of you tuning in right now. Thank you very much. If you want to see more of this, we will be live again tomorrow, 9 to 11, same time. But I will see you guys later.